Welcome back to the Global Goal Studio. We're having a conversation on gender equality in the workplace, moderated by Linda Pizzuti-Henry, CEO of Boston Globe Media Partners. Over to you, Linda.
Thanks, Richard. Sarah Kate, how can we think about approaching gender equality from an intersectional lens?
Well, I love this question. And I think let's start with defining intersectional, because I don't think that's a common term yet, unfortunately. But it is a term that was coined by the great Black lawyer and philosopher Kimberly Crenshaw. And the idea of intersectionality is that it's an analytical framework to understand how aspects of a person's identity combine to create layers of discrimination and oppression. So, you know, these identities can include gender, race, class, sexual orientation. So a Black trans woman has a very different level of oppression than a white cis woman. So I think that as we were talking about, and Megan was saying, that we've lost out on so much of society because of the systemic way that it was built, that we can't separate gender out from race or class or sexual orientation. And we must approach it because that's how you reach true equality, right? Otherwise, I feel like we're doing exactly what was done to get us here in the first place. And that's like weighing and assigning value to people based on their attributes. So if you look at it, Black women get paid, 21% less than white women. And we have to look at this holistically. It's how we're truly going to have a reckoning. And if we're to use the same model that we've inherited, which is patriarchal, white supremacist model, whether we like it or not, whether it was intentional or not, where we are today, that's where we are. We have to have that reckoning. We can't repeat those same mistakes. So we have to approach this intersectionally. And I think that's a natural way to approach what we're doing. George Floyd in that moment can't be taken out of the equation of where we are today and how we have to fix things moving forward.
Megan, you've really been a leader on issues of equality as well. What can you add to this?
I mean, I think the first time I ever heard intersectionality and the meaning and definition of it, it blew my mind, and it made the whole entire world make sense. Even me as a gay female athlete is in a much different situation than a gay female Black athlete on my same team. And so we do need to account for those. We can't just lift one group up in the same system. It just continues to oppress certain people. And again, what I was saying before, we're missing out on so much. I want people to reframe the way that they're thinking about equality, and not, how do we give all these other groups enough so they're equal so they'll stop complaining, but how do we get the most out of everyone so everyone can be better? How do we value everyone? How do we get the most productivity? How do we get the most creativity? How do we value people so they can be their full selves in society? And we know that when people get to be their full selves, generally they're successful, generally they're happier. They do amazing things. We have inventors and philosophers and writers and all different kinds of things. So I think we need to stop shying away from just saying things very plainly. If we're talking about a Black trans woman, this is a very different conversation than a white cis woman. I think we just need to say that plainly and start to account on an individual basis or on a group basis for the different layers of oppression and discrimination that people go through, and start there and start addressing those issues. And if you're starting with the Black trans women, everybody else will benefit because they are at the intersection of so many layers of oppression.
Really great conversation, especially for the World Economic Forum. We have to take another quick break. We'll be back in a minute on the Global Goal Studio.